trophy. Get ready.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. The pointy end of ESL 1, the grand final on the biggest stage of CSGO has ever seen. And we have seen some extraordinary matches to get us to this point as they play off for this gargantuan trophy and a major, and two teams which deserve to be in the final. You've got one team that in Envy seem to be, with their new lineup, almost unstoppable. Nothing can touch them. Then you've got Fnatic, which just seem to be untouchable. You've got the unstoppable force against the immovable object. Now, my job normally here is to hype you up. You're esports fans, you're CSGO fans. Do I need to hype this to you? Do I? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for the biggest game of the year? Of course you are. Now let's see who you think is going to win. Do you think it's going to be Envious? Or do you think it's going to be Fnatic? That's not loud enough. That is not loud enough for a grand final. Do you think Envious are going to win? Or do you think Fnatic are going to win? My friends, we are ready. Are you ready for a grand final? Then let's do this for this massive cup. I'm going to say 3 words. Are you ready?
One more time, put your hands together for the teams and players coming to the stage, and this time, make some noise for Team Envy! A big welcome to their opponents entering the arena. Here are the reigning ESL 1 champions, Fnatic!
And we're finally here. All 10 players left in ESL 1 Cologne 2015. Only 10 players left for contention for that trophy, for the title of ESL 1 champions, but of course, title of the champion of the majors here in Cologne 2015. Gentlemen, Envy versus Fnatic. Earlier we talked in broad strokes. Who do we think is going to win? What's the story for both teams? But now that we see them coming in, has anything changed? Both teams, I mean, Fnatic, first of all, after that kind of turmoil they had to go through to beat out BP, and they've risen back from the ashes, they look confident as ever in these finals.
I agree. I mean, I kind of feel like Envious has been slightly more hot today, as I mentioned earlier, but then again, Fnatic is just an unstoppable force, especially when they get going. And it's rare that we see Olaf have a bad map. For him to have two bad maps in a day, I don't hope so. But I feel like Olaf is going to be on point. I think that he's furious right now. He wants to prove the fans, the crowd, something, that he is the world's best player.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many tools on Fnatic for Pronex to use. They've shown over this streak of dominance that they've had that they can counter anything that's thrown at them. You know, when they get into tough stretches, they have that mind in Pronex, they have that tactical genius that can figure it out. Their pauses are incredible. You can always see they figure something out, and then they just go on a run. There's just so many tools in that team to use. But they're going against that honeymoon period of a new team that's just on fire right now.
I mean, for me, just basing off these two teams right now, you have a very mentally tired Fnatic. Just came off for a best of 3 versus Virtus Pro, but then again, they're also warmed up, right? And then you have Envious having a chance to just watch Fnatic's games. They had a time to relax, get some food, you know, then that's just true. Coming in. But so it's always going to be pros and cons if you want to play last or if you want to just play the first game. So overall, I think that obviously the warm-up period is going to benefit Fnatic coming into like a very good cobble side, a very good last map. But then again, if they haven't had a chance to like get some more energy in the body and stuff like that, I think Envy might come in here and just swing it off and potentially win the first map.
Wow, similar. What about you? Any outside factors that concern you for either team?
Almost, for some reason, the word timeout comes to mind. And Fnatic, they're going to have to be very wise about using those timeouts to break Envy's momentum, because I kind of follow in Fifth's footsteps here, where I think that that Envy have a strong chance of just taking control of the map right off the bat. They just got to watch an entire best of 3 series of Fnatic. They've done their homework, and knowing Happy, he wasn't somewhere, you know, taking a nap. He's done that in the past. In a match like this, he was definitely watching, and he was definitely getting prepared for what Fnatic are going to throw at them. So this is going to come down to the mental fortitude on Fnatic's side, knowing if Envy start to pull away, if NBK starts to go completely crazy again, when to put a halt to things. Because clearly, as we saw in Cobblestone, his team, with that timeout, they always make good use of it. That's when they can just completely turn the tide.
I agree. And just to see this in a big perspective, one thing that actually crossed my mind was that these two teams are probably the best two teams in the world at playing with all kinds of different weapons, right?
Yeah.
You have Fnatic with the Flusher P90, the JW Max 7,
yep.
You have the Envious with the Scout of NBK, the Pistol Kings of Kiyoshima, etc. And that's something which is really going to be shown in this game. You're not only going to be seeing a battle and a war being fought on AWPs, M4s, and AKs. This is going to be the entire arsenal of the CSGO weaponry.
Yeah, it should be really interesting to watch. I want to bring to the spotlight this time for the final 2 players that we've mentioned quite a bit of throughout this tournament. One, of course, Olafmeister. Can't forget him from Fnatic. We've been saying potentially, maybe even now confidently, the best player in the world. It really will depend on how he performs in this final.
Even if he denies it.
Well, even if he denies it, right? But then on the other side, for Envy, Apex. He's been in the spotlight, coming in with this new roster. How is he going to perform? Will he do well along with Kenny? But then Apex really has exploded in a lot of these maps to make sure that Envy can get this far.
Now, let me go ahead and basically make the point here, the big point, which is Apex does what Apex does because they have no fear. He has 100% confidence in his team. That's the magic of this new roster, is the fact that on Titan, Apex and Kenny, they were never able to have that backing from their teammates. They never knew, is somebody at my back rushing into this site with me, or is he waiting around the corner and I'm just going to go and die needlessly here? That's not the case. Now Envy, this is why they're able to be so effective in pistol rounds, in these forced buy situations where it's Tech 9 and it's run or die. You go in, if you stop, that's it. The round is over, you're done, you've lost it. Envy, they don't make those mistakes anymore. Apex, he can lead the charge confidently because he knows 100% that his team, they're never going to stop. They're right on his tail. That's what makes him so dangerous as an entry fragger right now.
Yeah, also, and as well, we saw in the semifinals matchup how even in distribution the kills were for Envy.
Yeah.
It's not like one player just outside of NBK taking over Inferno, but I mean, for the most part, it was just so concise from top to bottom in the kill count. And the big thing is they ran a lot of those death squads where they would have 4 people together, 1 person on the other side of the map watching the flank. So if Fnatic's gonna, their trademark is that aggression between Olafmeister and JW, finding some action, being the aggressors, going out and searching for it, and those death squads can punish that. It's always mattered with Fnatic what comes next, because they can recover from that situation so good.
Yeah, now you see both teams huddled around, making sure they're ready for the map veto. Before we start discussing the map veto, something to know, both teams have only dropped one map coming into the finals. Envy does 2 against TSM, and same for Fnatic, they only dropped that one map against VP in the semifinals on Mirage. So both of them pretty much a clean record coming in, just tested to their limits in the semis. What do you guys think? Are there any clear ideas here going forward?
Well, let's give it to the
let's
Bandmaster
take veto
himself.
really quick. It's hard for us to say, okay, we didn't even get to say anything. Overpass instantly removed by Envious, not the biggest of surprise, I would say. They've been looking shaky on it at times. And Mirage, that's pretty much a respect ban, I believe.
No, of course not. I mean, having bad results versus Luminosity and then just getting torn apart, torn to shreds versus Virtus Pro, they're not feeling comfortable on this map as of yet, or for this tournament.
And I was going to say, Envy picking Dust 2, I mean, that's a map that plays to their strengths, plays to that individual skill level, and even though they lost it against TSM, TSM's the best team in the world on that map, so there's no shame in dropping it to them, but still very, very confident on it.
Oh, wow.
Ooh. Fnatic just coming off of that big win in Cobblestone, take it for themselves, and then Inferno for map number.
I hope we get to see Inferno.
We
I
need
would
3
love-
maps.
I would love to see
Please.
Inferno.
Great, Gaben, give us 3 maps.
Yeah, I would actually love to see Inferno. Overall, I think that Envy is the Dust 2 pick for me is a little bit sketchy. I mean, Fnatic, they don't play it that much, but then Envy as well, feeling very confident, even though they, like Hayden said, losing to TSM.
One thing
And
I've
look at
noticed
that.
about
They go T side.
Oh.
Envy start T.
one thing I've noticed about Fnatic on Dust 2, and maybe this part plays into why it was picked as well, is that if you punish that early aggression out of JW and Olaf Meister, that team gets very spread out. They don't always seem to have like a great plan to find ways to group up and do that counter aggression that gets them back into the round. So I think Envy's looking at taking advantage of that on a map that, you know, Fnatic's just a little bit. If you can say they're weaker on a map, I think Dust 2 would be the map that they're a little bit weaker on.
And looking in the past, these teams have a big history on Inferno. That's why it's also interesting to go into the third one. With the old Envious lineup, Fnatic beat them 3 times in a row. So from that record, Fnatic should have the edge on that map. But then again, you see Envious going for the terrace side pick. They have the chance of deciding to go for the CT half, one of the strongest sides to start on in the potential third map of a major final, and they go for the terrace side. We saw what they were able to do against the TSM defense, and that's what they're looking to do against the Fnatic defense as well.
That's like a pride pick. That's like I don't even care.
No, and there was some discussion there too, because they started CT and they came back and changed it back to T. So there was a little bit of discussion, but I think Happy's trying to make a point here.
Yeah.
He knows that Thorn's watching.
Yeah, I mean, of course he is, and in a lot of ways, you know, along with the Dust 2 pick, I think that goes hand in hand. Phoebe, you were mentioning a little bit skeptical, given that Fnatic were like, you know what, we had a little tough time this week on Mirage, let's ban it out, and the Envy's like, we lost to TSM, no worries. You know what, TSM's respected. We'll still take it because we're still just as confident. Maybe they are really just riding this high. Maybe they're testing that honeymoon period they're having. How high can we fly right now with this roster? Ladies and gentlemen, the maps have been set. It's between Envy and Fnatic. Who will be the next ESL1 champion? Who will be the next major title holder? We're going to take a quick short break, and then when we come back, it's going to be map number 1 of the final.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The ESL One Cologne Finals is about to begin. Team Envious swept aside Team Solo Mid on Inferno. That is the final map. But Fnatic, the resilience they just showed against Virtus Pro, definitely put them in stronghold once again coming into this one. Joining me for this finals will be Anders, of course, and Henry G.
Hello.
What do we expect? Dust2 first up between these two teams. Very confident pick from a team that just lost to TSM on this very map.
Yeah, maybe that's what it's all about going into this, just showing absolutely no doubt and no fear, and believing that you're destined to win this. I like that. I hope that's the attitude of both these teams.
Yeah, I think you can't take too much away from the TSM game. Like I said, they're the absolute masterminds on CT Dust2 especially, so you can't say Envious should be afraid of this map. It's an individual skill play, and we know that big players can go big on this, so Kenny S especially, all eyes are going to be looking to him with the AWP. Will he be able to go toe-to-toe with JW on the deathmatch arena?
Yeah, that'll be very interesting. I mean, they have some pretty strong people in this arsenal. Fnatic as well is not just going to be JW, I think, or Ping. If Kenny really steps it up, then Olofmeister might be able to join in there as well. And we all know how good that double AWP setup is on Dust2.
Well, that's the whole thing. The double AWP setup is the best setup, in my opinion, you can actually run. It allows you to anchor both bomb sites and move your rifles around, setting them up for and adjusting to the team you're playing against. You have to have crossfires in middle, boost up at short, for example, and it can be the strongest you can be. But the difficulty is getting to that point. We know these teams like to force buy so much. Their economy can get so affected with the stubbornness almost of not wanting to be the first ones to bow out and actually do the full eco.
Well, Envious will be starting out on the T side on Dust2, Fnatic on the CT, of course. And they were actually watching this TSM semi-finals earlier on today. I could see them on the balcony here in this stadium watching on. How much would they have taken from that TSM game? Bearing in mind the strong result that TSM had on this map, or they, Pronax just say, you know what, we've got our own game. While TSM are doing great things, we know how to do it better.
That's the whole thing. You can't take too much away from watching other people's games. Like, it's good to take notes and watch how they approach certain situations, but the key is you should concentrate on what you're doing, the executions you have in mind, and then coming into when you're facing those sort of placements, you need to work out what can we run here that goes back into the round. Every round is completely different, and you need to judge each situation based on that. So it's just a case of getting an idea and a feel of how they take bomb sites and potentially hold off certain choke points as well.
How do you feel about the matchup of styles here between the two teams? I mean, we've seen all tournament long how hard it's been for Envy's opponents to stop that incredibly aggressive terrorist side. They all know it's coming, and they all get surprised by it anyway. What about Fnatic?
I thought you were referring to the crowd then, for a moment, because that is going to be part of the challenge as well.
Probably so. Oh, I think the pistol round is about to start here. 10 seconds left.
Okay, quick prediction coming into this one. 3 maps. Gonna put you on the spot.
Oh, now then. Well, I really do think it's going to be a 3-mapper. I'm going to tip it in favor of Envious, but we have to see how this first map unfolds. It's going to be such a close one. It's definitely on a knife edge, but the pistol is now coming in to fruition. And let's have a look at the bar. We do have Team Envious on the T side.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. It is the ESL1 Cologne Finals. It is Fnatic versus Envious. The pistol round is underway.
Here we go then. Fast execution into the B tunnels here. We can see one player lurking in T-spawn, but the CTs have got some aggression onto the short area as well. They're trying to get as much intel as they possibly can, but not finding anything yet.
Oh no, this could be a big problem here. If Happy goes down, a lot of the setup for Envy is going to be... But look at this, he actually sees 2 people. Flusher, blind shot, takes down Apex, and now they're in the B bomb site. Flusher getting a chance to reload. Backup is already here, but Kiyoshima with a stunning shot to shot down Olofmeister. It's now a 4v4. JW still alive. Kenny gets a kill on Crims. Flusher in the back lines. He's out of ammo. A knife is out. What's happening? Flusher, he's getting stabbed. He goes down. Enrique, he drops Flusher. It's going to be a 2v2, no bomb plan, and there it is. Happy, double kill, and Envy, they take the pistol.
Amazing stuff there. We saw the CTs pushing to try and get some information at the start of the round. The quick execution into B. There was such pandemonium in. Look at this moment. Both players running out of ammo on the platform, and MBK taking the knife there. Amazing stuff there, and what a brilliant start for Team Envious as they take the first round on Dust2. We can see, though, the force spike coming in from Fnatic. They definitely will have a taste for blood going into this round.
How will they react to it? They were looking to stack out the B side, maybe go for that passive take over on A, but Happy, you can see, or hear, just drilling down, taking a look around. MBK and Apex on the creep through. You saw the incredible opening statistics. Pronax is the man that's going to get tested if Apex were to pick through, but Nobody's showing. This is Fnatic playing very passive. Apex is going to push on through. Good little flash there. Doesn't get a second. Taking down to 3 health, but somehow gets away with a life because Kenny S comes in and supports.
That's perfect information gathered. As we said, though, Flusher answers back onto NBK. Scout on Scout. He takes the scalp of NBK there. And now it's a 4-on-3 situation in favor of Envious.
Well, if this is how we start, you gotta wonder where we're gonna end in this grand finals. There's JW to take down Happy, and it's back to a 3v3 here. Envy, usually they're the ones dishing out this kind of punishment in the second round, but Fnatic, they could do it too, and maybe even better. And JW on long, still fighting there as Apex goes down to Flusher. It's now a reverse kill there as Kenny will drop JW, and it's a 2v2. And Kenny, he's not even that scared. He's actually going to go and look into CT spawn. Bomb is ticking, and there's no kit, obviously, on the CT side, so retake going to be very tough, and I think they're just looking for the exits.
And you can see this is a big round now. They haven't got the kits to play with, so they're just going to want to be saving those scouts there. But Crims does take down Kenny S, making this round very expensive. Gets both of them as well, and that's going to be all the terror is taken down, but the bomb will blow up. But a huge economic deficit for the teaser, and I think that sums up how this game's going to go down. Every kill, even when they got the first 2 frags in middle, Fnatic answer back and end up getting a clean sweep there. But the headline is Envious go 2-0 up.
It is the start they needed. The crowd very much behind Envious. That may well work in their favor. We saw the French crowd earlier on singing the anthem, but
here we go, then we can see, look at the buyback for Fnatic. They picked up some rifles, they're ready to go. Kenny Esto does have the AWP, goes with that aggression on long. Isn't able to find anything, but it does open the round up.
And imagine how mad that is. He actually goes long and around with no body armor, and it's such a common sight to be throwing grenades in there. If he gets tagged with no body armor, he's going to be very low on health. Apex had armor, but still down to 58. He's in the middle, he's going to keep being here, and he goes down to Flusher. That might have been a bit of a slip-up, and that's now a man down for Team Envy.
That's going to cause some problems. The smoke from Pronex is delaying him. Kenny S has pushed through the smoke, went too aggressive, and Flusher catches him in the back. And this is a disaster now for Envy. They tried to help out, but Fnatic's force is working wonders. NBK is creeping through over onto B side, but he's going straight into Crimson Olofmeister. He'll go down. Flusher raining the shots through. This has not gone Envy's way.
Yeah, some big mistakes being made there. They didn't need to commit 1 by 1 into the middle area, getting taken down by the scout. And this, you can see, they have got the AWP remaining, but 5-on-2 situation, you really do have to favor the CT setup here. Fnatic looking incredibly strong there, and JW does take down Kiyoshima. Happy's going to be last man remaining, but that is a round on the board for Fnatic, and that force buy does work out for them, and it was a crazy situation going into that round.
They even salvaged the AWP that Kenny was wielding at the beginning of the round, and that's going to be on JW, not something that's going to make anybody on Envy smile. Envy, on the other hand, they're not going to bend so easily. Even though they actually didn't get that many kills on the round, they're still going to buy up here. Everyone except Kenny, that is.
This is the stubbornness I talked about. No team will want to back down in these initial stages of the game. You can see them getting Tech 9s and P250s. All 5 players coming into the B tunnels, though. Potentially going to do a similar tactic to what they do on the pistol, smoking up and then going straight through. They have got to smoke on NBK there, so just biding their time, waiting for the CT utility to be used up here.
Flusher with the AK holding a CT spawn is going to be checked out. Happy is the sole man that's going to check this angle, but Crimson Olofmeister has been so solid. And they're holding B site very deep as well. You can see Flusher just tucked in there, and they're going to burst on through the smoke straight into B site. That's going to be a great flash, but Crims not going for the shot straight away. Will manage to get a little peek around, but Kiyoshima comes in with a pistol. They managed to get Olofmeister. The B control is in the hands of Envious. Somehow they managed to find the heads of Fnatic the second they peeked.
Yeah, and you can tell Fnatic right here, they're not even going to try and go for it. They know they've got the rifles picked up, they already have armor, and even without any grenades here on the terrorist side, holding the B-bomb side is still a lot easier. Happy sneaking out into the middle, is going to get caught by Flusher, but these are all just exit frags. And you know what, Henry, this has to sting for Fnatic, because they run a very similar strat themselves when they have pistol armor, except Fnatic do a much more interesting. That's a nice shot, long range, but it gets refragged. But Fnatic's variation of this strat involves actually standing behind the smoke in the entrance and then flashing through in a pop flash.
That's exactly what they run on their pistol round, and we know how strong Envious can be with these force buy with pistols as well. They just went in with P250s and found the first 2 frags. That's so huge, and like you could see, Fnatic saw it coming as well. They just got taken down, and like you said, the bomb goes down in that situation, and they just fell back completely. And this is going to be such a back and forth game. That lovely shot there from Apex onto JW. But the dual orb setup coming in now, this is what we talked about. This game is going to be crazy. This is absolutely fantastic stuff. This is the strongest setup you can run on Dust 2, but let's see how it unfolds now.
And it's Olaf Meister, the man that was going in towards long, but I think they've already sussed this one out. Fnatic making a quick rotation, but MBK, he's charging headlong in. He managed to get a good tag down, but Happy was picked off by JW. They dropped down into ramp, but they're going to get charged on down. That is a very aggressive. Envy as they all leap down, but it was quickly equalized by Flusher and Crims. And now MBK with a plant down is in a 2-on-1. Crims is the sole man. Is he going to try and push this?
Well, he's got no kit, and he just put out the one grenade here. If he got a really quick frag on someone, he's definitely going to keep going. But the more time passes, it's going to be very tricky. And Envy, are they going to show themselves? A bit of a chance there. But now they know where he is, and that kind of gives it up. And yeah, saving the AWP, definitely a better choice right here. So I think Crims was looking for an opening, but one didn't present itself in the first 5 seconds, and then it's just not worth it.
You can tell this is the grand final. The big plays coming through. The quick call just to get up short as fast as possible. Exchange of frags there. Dropping down into CT spawn as well. It's going to be a really fast-paced game. And that's the fourth one on the board for Envious there. But Crims does save the WP. Looking at the money for the CTs now, they're going to have to make that decision. We know they want to force buy here, but this might not be the right call, judging by the current state of the game. So it'll be interesting to see how they approach this one. They're looking like they're not going to force into it.
You know, I was talking to Hastro earlier on, the owner of Envy, and about the team, how confident they were. And the confidence is so much that, well, obviously we were watching Inferno at the time, they're so confident they will just all pile on through. Nobody will stop. They will keep on pushing through smoke, keep on pushing into sites, and they will be back.